I hope this finds you well on this first Sunday in April. I'm sorry that the men cannot cook breakfast for you, but I have cooked up a little devotion for you that I hope is a blessing. This devotion comes from Wisdom Hunters and is written by Trip Prince. And the title is Courageous, Not Anxious. In Romans 8:22 and 23, it says, "We know that the whole creation has been groaning in labor pains until now, and not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly while we wait for adoption, the redemption of our bodies." If you've been watching or reading the news lately, words like unprecedented, historic, uncharted territory, and never before seen have been used in great abundance. Yet we must remember that there is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing fundamentally different from the world this week than the world of a month ago, or a year ago, or 1,000 years ago. As C.S. Lewis says in his 1939 piece entitled Learning in Wartime, I think it is important to try and see the present calamity in a true perspective. The war creates no absolutely new situation. It simply aggregates the permanent human situation so that we can no longer ignore it. On the other hand, I hesitate to use a reference to World War II in the fear of overstating or escalating the moment we find ourselves in now, when what is needed is an unwavering posture of peace. However, on the other hand, I find his words to be a powerful reminder of a foundational truth that applies today. As St. Paul says in Romans 8:22, all creation has been groaning in the pains of childbirth. Each and every one of us, regardless of our circumstances or personal situation, are weak and in need of the mercy of God. Though we may not live through seasons of life in which it is easier than others to ignore this, each one of us will eventually have to confront our frailty and the pain of life. A greater awareness of human need deepens in us an awareness of the mercy of God. This awareness is the beginning of our transformation, from fearful to courageous, from weak to strong, from selfish to self-giving. And in times of great need, the world desperately needs the church to embody this kind of transformation. You and I need this courage, endurance, and character in order to move forward and beyond our fear and step out as the hands and feet of Jesus. A sign of immorality in our faith is our inability to care for anyone or anything other than ourselves. A sign that our suffering and trials are produced in us transformation is when we begin to truly think of the good of our neighbor and the needs of the more vulnerable in our midst, not just making sure of our own backs are covered. If you are a follower of Jesus, this is what you signed up for. In times of financial uncertainty, when you're tempted to shut down your finances and keep everything safe and secure, what if you instead pushed against the temptation and made an intentional gift of generosity this week? When facing a public health crisis, what would it look like to intentionally seek the health and well-being of your most vulnerable neighbors and family members? The life of wisdom that you daily cultivate is not just for your sake, but is meant to be deployed in seasons like this. So be bold for the sake of others as we all rely daily on the goodness and mercy of God. Have a good week, and may God bless you.